Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. Before you listen to this episode, go over to Instagram and please follow us at Carissa and Jason, and then hop straight over to YouTube and subscribe to us at Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. We appreciate your support and we hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome. Hello, friends and family and people who we know and don't know. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. Thank you for joining us today.
Welcome, friends.
So I don't know. You want to just jump into this?
You got nothing? You don't want to say what this podcast is about? What this
right.
episode is about?
Right. Sorry.
Okay. Again, we're barely graduates over here. Just forgive us. You know, we're not professionals in really any way, shape, or form. So just a disclaimer. Anything we're going to be talking about today, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but just remember, we're not professionals.
We're not professionals. We just speak from our heart. We speak through our lives.
Yeah.
We speak through our experiences. So if you're just joining us for the first time, what you're going to be able to witness is come through a journey with us where we're going to be able to speak about ways that you can live the best life that you've been given. We've been fortunate enough to recognize that we live great lives, and a lot of it has to do with what we believe, who we believe in, and our faith. So basically, you're just going to come on a journey with us. You're going to hear real life stories about what we go through, people that we know, and hopefully anything that we've gone through or anything that we say, our goal is that it helps one person out there look at something a little bit differently that might help change their life, that puts them on the path to live the best life they've been given.
Well, gotta follow that up now.
Well, how was your weekend? How was your weekend? Let's start there.
All right. This is a good place to start because my weekend starts with just letting you know that I despise you, because last week Jason said, this is what I want to talk about on the podcast next week, and you're gonna lead it. Okay, now I'm just gonna get straight into it. Okay. I'm not gonna ask you about your weekend because I know you don't remember it already. Fair.
But I will say I had a good Father's Day.
Oh yeah.
Shout out all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah.
Oops, okay. Yeah. Happy Father's Day.
But by the time they actually listen to this, now that I think about it, this is going to be like 5 weeks later. So they're going to be like, Father's Day. Father's Day was like
2 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe I should have left that part out.
All right.
Anyway,
well,
real talk. This is real.
Exposing ourselves.
Yeah.
We're recording this the day after Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to Jason and all the other dads out there. This week was hard for me because Jason said, this is what I want next week's episode to be about. How to not care what people think of you. So when you told me that, I knew your next sentence was going to be, and I want you to lead this episode, because if anybody knows Jason, you know that he doesn't care at all in any sense, in any way, what people think of him. True or false?
Yeah, like zero.
Okay, yeah. So, for the rest of us that aren't aliens, I think this will be helpful. And I just want to share what I learned. Again, not a professional. It's just what I learned.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I hop into it?
Well, maybe...
You have notes too? I'm just ignoring you. Okay.
No. Actually, I don't.
Okay.
Not on this anyway. But maybe we should talk about like why we wanted to talk about it first.
Cool. Well, your idea, so go.
Well, I remember you and I talking. I was going for my walk on my church day. Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know, which is all of you, I have declared Friday as my church day. I know Sunday's supposed to be the day of worship, but for me, it's Friday, and not because it's Friday in the sense that everybody else looks at Friday, but Friday seems to be the day where God talks to me and answers a lot of questions and prayers that I've had. So I saw that over the course of a long time. So because of that, I declared Friday as my church day, and you and I were talking on a Friday. And I don't remember what we got into exactly, but I do remember.
Who knows?
Yeah, but I do remember the topic of caring about what people thought of you, not you, but people in general, came up. And I think it's important to talk about because I feel like that is the majority of people that are out there.
Yeah.
With the pressures of social media, with the pressures of just media in general, with the pressures of having to be a certain way, look a certain way, act a certain way, say certain things, especially in times that where anything you say now, you know, you have to watch what you say because it's politically incorrect and someone's going to get mad at you. I think we've gone down this rabbit hole that is destructive.
Yeah.
And we've gone down this hole that allows negativity and Satan to take over your heart and your mind. And when that happens, you go into places that you can't come out of, and then you experience things that you don't want to experience, and you're unable to live happily when you care what other people think of you.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very important to speak about it, and because I can't really relate to it personally because
Must be nice.
I don't care what people think
really
of
nice.
me. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't want people to like me, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't live my life to please other people.
Yeah.
I live my life as I feel to live my life. As long as I know that I feel like I'm a good person and I'm doing the right things and I have the good intentions in mind, I can go to bed and sleep well at night. And if you don't like me for that, that's not on me. That's on you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sleep good the next day, and you might not, and I'm okay with that. And I think everybody should get to that point.
I agree with you. What I realized, is that to get to that point, you have to make a decision. So it can't just be like a kind of thought you throw up in the air. Oh, I want to care less about what people think of me, or I care too much about what people think of me. You have to personally make a decision. Okay, I am going to make an effort not to care about what people think of me. Because I think that is something I struggled with my whole life, and probably everybody else too, where you know it's eating away at you at the back of your mind on whatever kind of topic it's about. But you never really make the conscious decision, I'm going to conquer this. Like, I'm not going to live my life this way. And I feel like that's what you did at some point in your life, maybe the day you were born, where you were like, I'm not going to live my life this way. And so you didn't. So that was the first thing I learned, is recognizing, okay, you need a moment where you come to a crossroad. You can go left or you can go right. And you need to take the path that is not caring about what people think. But what does that mean? When you make that decision, let me tell you that you will be tested, because I don't feel like you can make that decision and then not run into a situation where it would happen.
You're going to make the decision, and I promise you will be put in that situation.
No, and that's what I did. And that's why I'm saying I hate you, because this week sucked. Seriously. But, you know, it's good. But these tests and these situations that you're going to be put in, they're going to suck. But that's because it's like growing. So I always look at growing like puberty. Because, like, what was good about puberty? Like,
are you asking me?
Yeah. Can you name like one good thing besides the end result?
Besides the end result?
The process of puberty. What is good about it?
I don't know. I don't really remember the process. I just remember the end result.
Okay, but the process for most people includes like acne, stinking for girls, like crying all the time when they're like 12, 13 years old.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I always look at, you know, growing as puberty, like it sucks while it happens, but then the end result is great. Now you got muscles, now you got boobs.
Yeah.
It's great, the end result.
Yeah.
But during really sucks. But that's kind of what helps me get through the moments that suck. It's like, okay, this is developing you into a better person in the end, right?
So let me ask you a question.
Okay, I know what you're gonna say.
What am I gonna say? Tell me what I'm gonna say.
I feel like you're gonna ask me for a specific example. See, that's exactly.
Okay, so let me ask you another question.
Okay,
instead.
fine. Because I had my example coming.
Why do you think that people care what people think of them? Why do you, never mind the question, why do you care what people think of you?
Okay. This was like my last point in my notebook, actually.
Right. You can go off script.
No, yeah, we can go off script. That's totally cool. I'm just trying to figure out my wording for this. Why do I care? I've noticed that whatever the situation might be, so let's get into my example, which is planning my wedding. So anyone that's probably ever planned a wedding, that's a woman, will probably understand this, okay? Forget about the men. They just won't. But I realized that every situation in my life where I'm caring about what people think can be related directly back to like one person. So it's not even like caring about the general public, but it's like I feel like deep, deep down, there's one person at the back of your mind that represents this public that you're encapsulating.
That's fair.
Yeah. So why do I care about what people think? I think personally, me and my family and my life, I've done everything different than everybody else. So I think just naturally, it's a bit like jarring to be like, okay, are they just going to be talking behind my back all the time? Am I not going to be accepted? A lot of it is just thinking about like, well, what are people saying like behind my back? Which is so lame saying that out loud. But that's the truth. That's real
the reality
talk.
of it. That's the reality
real talk.
of it. Yeah.
Real talk, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of my answer. I think it comes from a place of pride too, because I think of myself as someone that's like smart and intelligent, and caring and a good person and whatever. So
I'll co-sign all of that.
Well, thank you. So I think caring about what other people think of me comes from a place of pride, because I'm like, well, do they think I'm not these things? And sometimes I catch myself like working so hard to prove that I am these things, to silence the people that I think don't think I'm those things.
I understand.
It's vicious.
Yeah. So basically you're telling me that and I'm only asking, so it sounds like you would be living your life for them.
Yes.
Is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
That's got to be work.
Yeah. It is. And I think I suffer with it on kind of like the same level as everybody else. I don't think to a crazy degree. I think I'm pretty level-headed when it comes to it, but it's still something that, every once in a while I struggle with. I think we talked about this in our first or second episode, where I've got a little carry-on of luggage, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have a big luggage, but I'm humble enough to admit that I've got a little carry-on.
Yeah, we all do. All of us do. All of us.
So I think that's in my carry-on for sure. But the example I was going to give to answer your question is planning my wedding. So my wedding, for those who don't know, I'm an Italian girl, and Italians do weddings very specifically. If you've ever seen the movies or heard about them in the greater Toronto area,
just go big or go home.
It's exactly what you think it is. 200 people is like a small wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exactly what you think it is. And mine is going to look very different than anybody else's in my family. Number one, for who I'm marrying, not a European, okay? Number two, just the way we're doing it in general, not doing the Catholic Church, not doing a lot of the traditions and stuff. But the two main things probably is who I'm marrying and not in a Catholic church, right? So the who I'm marrying part, I was like, kind of like from day one, I'm like, there's no way I'm letting the voices influence me, right? So I didn't. That I buried a long time ago. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. But kind of like the rest of it, I thought that once I dealt with that, not caring what people thought of my relationship, then like the rest was Gucci. And then, you know, I get engaged and I'm getting married, and suddenly everyone's looking at me sideways because I don't want to get married in a Catholic church, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to have a bridal shower that has 150 people, whatever, all this stuff.
A bridal shower with 150 people.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, that's real talk. But what I've learned is that once you're tested, you have to put it into practice. Like, the only way to get over caring about what people think is slowly making it a practice to not bow down to doing what you think they want you to do.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. But it's painful because you know what people are going to say. So it's not so much getting to the mindset of, oh, it's okay, like everybody will be happy. It's getting to the mindset of, it's okay if people are upset.
Yes.
It's okay if people are mad.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me specifically because I've learned I'm a person that really cares if people are upset. Like, I don't want to make people upset, like, ever. If I'm like 15 minutes late, I'm like, I'm so sorry, like, forgive me, I'll buy you dinner. Like, I'm like, I really don't want to make people upset. So, but you know, my whole life is kind of making people upset. So I think I'm being put through these tests to just get over it and be okay with every decision you make is going to upset or make somebody angry, and good. You just kind of have to get over it.
You know,
if maybe that's a little too blanket to say, but
no, it's not blanket. As a matter of fact, I truly believe that, you know, going back to, if you walk through life knowing that you have a good heart and good intentions, and you're doing all of the I don't want to say the right things, but if you're just walking in positivity and goodness, and you have made a decision to block out negativity and block out hating and block out the chatting and all that kind of stuff, you're going to have people talk about you behind your back.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm a good person. Like, I'm very comfortable with saying I know I'm a good person.
yeah.
And I know 98% of the time I am trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
I'm a human being, so I'm not perfect, and nor will I ever be, and nor am I trying to be perfect, to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
But because I'm so comfortable in understanding that I feel like I'm a good person, if I'm living that life and people are talking about me behind my back, it tells me that I must be doing something good.
Okay. There you go. Yeah.
Right? People talked behind Jesus' back.
Okay. Pastor Jason?
Right? Jesus said, they hate me, so they will hate you.
Okay.
So if you're telling me that the Savior of our planet, who died for our sins, was being hated on,
Yeah.
you think you're not going to be hated on?
Yeah. No, because it literally says you will be hated on.
Right.
You will be judged. It literally says you will be hated.
Right. So, you know, I read that scripture afterwards. I already had this opinion.
Yeah.
And then I was told that it was in the Bible.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, actually, because I've just started reading the Bible. But and then it validated it for me immediately. Because I'll be honest, there was times where I struggled with, is there something wrong with me because I don't care? Like,
I wish that was something I struggled with because I can't relate to that.
Right? I would literally almost talk to myself a bit and be like, Jay, like, is something wrong with you that you don't care? And the thing about it is I didn't discriminate.
Yeah.
I know I have family members that talk about me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know I have friends that talk about me, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm a good person. And I know that all my intentions are good.
Yeah.
A lot of people battle with a lot of demons internally. A lot of people go through life glass half empty.
Yeah.
So it's only natural when those people see other people that might not live the same way, you're going to be hated on for it.
Yeah.
So I actually look at it as a good thing that you're hating on me for it. If I was a bad person and you're hating on me, I would feel differently about it.
Yeah.
Because you would be hating on me because I'm not a good person.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then okay, then I got to wake up and change my ways. So,
Yeah.
then they're actually trying to help me. But if you know you're a good person, if you really know that, I think it's great that you have people that hate on you.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like it's about being confident in who you are. Because when you know who you are, like, you don't really care about what other people have to say. And I think that's where a lot of people's problems lie is, they say on the external, oh, I'm smart and, I think I'm talented and I have this gift and that and whatever. But they don't actually believe it on the inside. That's just what their parents told them or a personality test told them or whatever. But it's truly on the inside. I think if we all truly knew who we were on the inside, we would be behaving a lot differently.
Amen.
And that's what you were saying where, Jesus said, they hate me, so they'll hate you. It's funny how that validated everything you thought before, because for that quote for me is what gets me through versus validating.
Okay, yeah.
Because I read it and I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like I need to expect this. If I'm going to be walking this way and doing this with my life, it literally says people are going to be upset at you. That's just that. There's no like, okay, and you should do so and so. It's like, no, here's the fact. People are going to hate you. And there's no belly rub after that. There's no consolation. There's no kiss on the cheek. It's just people are going to hate you.
Yes.
And I think when I read that over and over again, it kind of gives me strength to be like, okay, you know what? I'm lucky enough to even look around myself and be like, okay, I have supportive friends. I have supportive family. What voice am I going to choose to listen to? And exactly what you're saying, not even for me, like, I don't think of it as, oh, I'm a good person. I think of it as I'm on the right path.
Thank you. Yeah. You actually, that says it better than the way I said it. I like that better, actually.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I felt kind of weird saying that I'm a good person.
I'm a good person. Because we're trash.
I did feel kind of weird saying it, but I didn't know another way to get another way to get my point
I get what
across.
you mean, though. Yeah.
But yes, I'm on the right path. That's exactly the wording I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you know you're on the right path and you're confident in what you're doing and who you're listening to, then it's kind of like nobody can really tell you anything. And that's what's helped me kind of grow in my confidence. I can tell you I'm a lot different than versus 3 years ago. I didn't even know how to get over this. But now I feel like I kind of have the tools to get over it and also the knowledge that I need to get over it. Because I always operated from the place of, if I don't make everybody happy, if somebody's upset with me, it started to make me anxious. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna die. That's a drama queen statement, but that's what it would literally. That's so drama queen. But no, okay. So I didn't expect to talk about this, but let's get real. So, 2016, I started having anxiety attacks. And I'd never suffered from them or nothing. It literally came one day out of nowhere. I was in school, but dealing with a lot of stress and stuff. And we started this big kind of group project where there was a lot of pressure, right? A lot to perform, a lot to do, whatever. People understand school stress. One morning I woke up and I thought I was going to die. No, this is not being dramatic. I literally thought I was going to die because my heart was beating out of my chest. And this is what I feel like so many people go to the hospital for, because when you have a panic attack or anxiety attack, you literally think you're dying because you think you're having a heart attack. I actually fainted and my mom was there. So she started screaming. She was like, what the hell is wrong with you? And I started throwing up and it was really scary. And I had to take a whole week to recover off of that. And, I thought something was really wrong with me. And then I went to a doctor and they're just like, yeah, I just have anxiety. Like, here's some medication. I'm like, this is not my answer.
Oh, they gave you medication?
Yeah, right away.
Right away.
I forget what it was, but it was literally like, I went to a clinic, right? And she's like, oh, maybe you have an inner ear infection. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I went to my family doctor after that. And she's like, yeah, she's just looked at my thing. She's like, yeah, you have anxiety. Okay, here you go. Wrote me some prescription.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, okay. I threw it out. I'm like, this is not my solution. I mean, not to diss anyone that is your solution. Personally, it was not my solution. It wasn't your solution.
Yeah. I understand that.
So,
and I applaud you for recognizing that.
Yeah, because I knew there was a bigger problem in my mind. Anyways, to make a long story short, a doctor diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder. And I started having like all these like panic attacks and anxiety attacks where it was like, I noticed my trigger was every time I would get in a very serious argument with someone. That didn't happen too often, but I guess during that year, like I was also under a lot of stress with school. A lot was kind of changing in my life at that time. That there was just a lot of like tension kind of coming from a lot of different places, right? We get into arguments with my mom or arguments with my boyfriend, whatever kind of thing. But every time where I felt like I am upsetting someone by my decisions, I would like have a full like panic attack where for like 3 hours, and like the end of it, I would like throw up. Like, so I was physically sick from this. And
I feel like a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah. And I didn't know what to do. What really helped me, because at this time I hadn't begun my journey, like not at all. Maybe like a little bit. I was starting to like spark an interest, but like nowhere close, right? So I tried yoga to like relax. That didn't do a single thing. I tried, listening to calming music, whatever, nothing. I actually went to a therapist, and the thing that totally changed my mind in terms of the anxiety attacks was she was just like, you can't die from them. And just hearing those words, something like changed in my head, because when you're physically having this experience, like you actually think you're dying because like your body is like going all out of whack. So that helped me a lot, but it just helped me to learn how to manage it and how to cope with it and how to get over like throwing up and like fainting and stuff like that. Stuff that like I was not able to function with.
I'm assuming because while you're going through it, because you feel like you're going to die, it gets worse and worse because you think that.
So you're just spiraling. Okay. Yeah. So from that, I was able to learn how to manage it, where like it would happen for, instead of 3 hours, for like 20 minutes, you know what I mean? And then from there, I was able to manage it like, okay, from 20 minutes just to like 5 minutes, you know what I mean? Because I was able to get back in the headspace of, okay, I'm not dying. My heart's just beating really fast, but like, I'll be okay, right? I'm just dizzy. I can sit down and I'll feel better. So I don't think it was until maybe this year where I started looking back on those times and understanding what the actual trigger was, which was upsetting people. And the root of that is caring what people think of me. Because, I don't know, it would literally just bother me so much to upset another person by my decisions. So a lot of times I would make decisions to please somebody else, and that would just like drain you.
Yeah. Like
drain you. There was, I think the one time it was like a big deal was, my family is very serious when it comes to attending functions and parties and stuff like that. It's, you can't really just say like, okay, I can't come. Like you have to have like a real good reason, right? So there was this one time, I don't even know what it was. There was some birthday or gathering but it wasn't very important. And my mom was like, okay, you're going. And I'm like, no, like I have other plans. And she's like, you're going. And I was like, and I decided in that moment, I'm like, no, I'm taking a stand. I'm so drained from doing what you want me to do and whatever, which is fair. It's like, that's your mom. You do things your parents want you to do, right? But I was just really drained at that point. And she like lost it on me. We got in like a huge fight. And at the end of that, I end up in this like huge anxiety attack because I've upset my mom. And you know, it hurts to upset your parents. It hurts to upset people close to you, right? But it's something that you do have to accept. As long as you know that you're in the right path, you're not upsetting them because you're cheating on them or stealing from them. You know what I mean? You're upsetting them because you're taking a stand for yourself. You're taking a stand for your health. It's really hard, especially if you were a person like me that it would really bother you to make somebody upset. It's hard, but you have to do it because since then, my mom had like a different kind of like respect for me, where she was just like, okay, like she won't push me as much if I say no, right? And that's not going to be the case for everybody. You know, you might not have somebody that's that understanding in your life that'll understand boundaries and stuff, but it, now that I look back on it, it was actually way harder than I thought it was to get over it.
That would be hard. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
What I'm getting out of what you're saying is that you when somebody puts themselves in a position to where they care so much about what other people think, and you go out of your way to please them, and obviously it's not going to be, if you have that personality type, it's not going to be one person you're trying to please. It's going to probably be like 20 or 50 people you're trying to please.
Yeah.
So that's 20 or 50 different personalities that you have to try to adapt your one personality to doing. Besides the fact that that's draining, and besides the fact that that is so much work, at the end of the day, all you're doing is making yourself sick.
Yes.
All you're doing is depleting your own energy and your own resources when you could be using that energy and those resources to be doing something more positive.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is when you do get to that point when you're sick, because when you do that, I'm no doctor, but I believe that you can literally bring on illnesses upon yourself when you get yourself to that stage.
Yeah, man.
You can develop cancer.
Yeah.
You can develop heart disease. You can develop all those medical conditions that come out. We all have the capacity to have those things within us. We all have cancer cells in our body. Not all of us bring them out.
Yeah.
It's the stresses. It's the all the it's the negativity. It's the caring what people think about us that brings all of that stuff out. And the funny thing is, you know, we'll spend so much time trying to please everybody else, and then when you're sick and when you're going through your thing, there's not many of them around to help you get through that part of it.
Yeah.
They're all gone at that point. And then when and if you feel better later, they'll come back around again.
Yeah.
So why take that? This is not for you specifically, but you know, in my mind, it's why put yourself in that position to make yourself ill, make yourself what's the word I'm looking for? Drawing a blank. Basically put yourself in a position of living for them, not living for you, but when you need them, they're not there for you. So if you can get to a place where you don't care that you've upset somebody else, it's very liberating.
Yeah.
And when you can do that and really believe that you're okay with it, because you can try to fake it. You know, you can say I don't care, but meanwhile you're shaking inside.
Yeah.
But if you can really get to that point where genuinely not caring that somebody else is upset with you because you're living your life on your path, you'll find that you will take that energy that you had, that you were focusing on the negative, and you will do so much good with the positive.
Yeah.
Like, just think about that. Like, think about transferring that energy from negative to positive and what can come out of that. Because
do you know how much energy comes out of you to have a panic attack? You really can't relate.
No, I don't know.
But there is so much energy. Because mine, I think, they were pretty long. I know some people's panic attacks, they're maybe like half an hour or something, but mine would last like 3 or 4 hours or like the whole night.
Wow.
Your whole night is shot.
Wow.
And it's like, that is so much energy. And the whole time you're just trying to breathe and like focus on like not dying. That is so much energy. Where it's just like, wow, what could you do with that emotional, mental, and physical energy? A lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And as you were talking, I came to the realization that no matter how hard you try to please someone, you're going to fail.
Yes.
Because you can never please someone 100% of the time. And I think that was when I started having my anxiety and stuff. That was what was really hard for me, particularly with that fight that I had with my mom, because me and my mom have always gotten along. Like, there's never been any issues. And even with my like life decisions and stuff, she always supported me and stuff. But then, you know, this kind of decision, as simple as it was, like I'm not going to this function or whatever, was me not listening to her in a way that she really wanted me to. Made me realize that, like, wow, I've worked so hard my life, like, to make sure my mom is never upset with me and to please my mom, and here I am in this simple situation completely failing. And you're never going to please everyone 100% of the time, even like at work and stuff. I'm that person that's like nervous to call in sick, like I'm throwing up and saying, oh my god, like I'm so sorry, like I'm throwing up, like, you know, and I'm apologizing. Why am I apologizing? To use a sick day?
Yes.
You know, but like you work so hard at work to please your manager and to please your bosses, but then if you call in sick on an important day where everybody else is called in sick too, they're going to be upset because you've put them in a bad position, right? Which is understandable, but you just have to be okay with, be like, all right, they're going to be upset and that's okay. I need to know when I have to put my health first.
Yes.
Even in situations where you're not sick, you have to think if you're mentally sick, because then you need to put your health first again.
Yes. Yeah. I can't help but think about, you know, the people that are in situations like that, you know, where they try to do all the right things for everybody else so that they can be invited to a party.
Yeah.
You know, I try to do all the right things and say all the right things so that I can hang out with this group of people. And from what I recall, for people that were like that, because I wasn't like that. I was friends with everybody and anybody. When I was in high school, like literally, we had all kinds of groups of people, and I was the guy who was friends with everybody because I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And I would even have some groups of people be like, "How do you talk to those people over there? Like, why do you hang out with those people over there?" And I'm like, "Why? Who cares?"
Yeah.
And because I didn't care, and I let them know that I didn't care, they actually stopped bothering me.
See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like you came out the womb like this. Like, I literally feel like you just came out into this world like, what's poppin'? Like, where's the party at? Don't care who's there.
Doesn't matter.
Got drinks.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I grew up. I was fortunate to grow up in multiple types of households.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from like a blended family, and still was close with all my family groups.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but I was fortunate enough to grow up in different environments.
Yeah. I
grew up in a Jamaican household. I also spent a ton of time with, you know, the Canadian side of my family. So I was well versed in, you know, white people culture. I was well versed in black people culture.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very easy to blend in with everybody and
Yeah.
do everything with everybody because I could relate to everybody in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. So maybe that helped me not care. Maybe.
just feel like you're just a different person. I don't think there's an explanation.
I'm gonna go ahead and take that as a compliment.
Yeah. No, it's a compliment. It's a compliment. Yeah. No, I don't know what makes that kind of person. I just feel like it's just a sense of confidence in knowing who you are. I feel like that's a big thing.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. So when I saw certain people trying to fit in with other people, it was amazing. Some of them would actually mission accomplished. They got to go to that party. They got to hang out with that group of people. But it wasn't much longer after that where it's like, oh my gosh, they don't want to talk to me anymore because I da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, you spent so much time trying to be like them. You can only be like them for such a short period of time, your true identity is going to come out at some point.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen then, right?
Can I tell you something funny? Like, I feel like my life has kind of been, like, reversed, because I feel like the younger I was, like, the less I cared. And then the older I got, the more I cared. Because I feel like normally people care about that stuff when they're, like, a teenager, maybe their early 20s and stuff. But I think the older I got, the more I cared about it. Because I remember in high school, this group of friends all stopped talking to me because of this guy that I was talking to. Girl drama.
Yeah.
They literally all stopped talking to me and started talking about me behind my back, whispering me, and I literally was like, wow, I don't care. Like, and anytime like someone dropped me as a friend, or I didn't get invited to this party, whatever, I never was like a try hard kind of person. I didn't care. And then it felt like the older I got, the more I started caring. And I don't know what kind of switched in me, but I've found myself a couple times, every time I've done it, I would say under 5 times, I look back and I'm like, wow, I have so much regret. But you know those situations where you get into like with a group of people and maybe they'll start picking on one person and stuff? I've joined in on those before. But then, you know, when you're alone with that person, you're not making fun of them. Or you could have used that time as opportunity to stick up for a person or whatever. And it's not like, you know, full on bullying, you could call it, but just kind of teasing kind of thing, right?
It's bullying.
Yeah, it's bullying.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's bullying. And, you know, in that moment, I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, I don't mean it. I'm just joking around. We're just running jokes. And then I leave that later, and I'm like, I feel like a witch. I'm like, wow, I'm a wench. Like, what is wrong with me? And, you know, every time it's happened, again, like under 5 times, but I vow, like, never to make it happen again. And then it happens again, where a group situation comes up and I'll join in on making fun of or like whatever, stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, why am I doing this? Is it because like I want to fit in? I don't, it's weird when you catch those things in yourself.
Well, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Never mind high school or not, adults do it. I see it every day now. I'm 45 years old, and I see adults do it on a regular basis right now. I see adults do it, and they're older than me. So this is an ongoing thing. And I think that, you know, if there's anybody out there who lives their life like that, if you get to a point where you don't care if you don't care that you make other people upset, take that energy, focus on the positive, and use that energy for positive, and you will see how quickly and how miraculously that more positive comes to you.
Yeah.
More goodness comes to you.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It sounds cliche, it sounds unreal, it sounds, you know, fairy tale-ish, but it's the reality of the situation. Good in, good out. Shit in, shit out. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's a topic that is not an easy one to talk about, and there's no real solution to it other than being aware that you are living your life for everybody else around you and not for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you can get to that point where you can live your life for yourself, all the people that you want around you you're going to automatically draw them into you.
Let me tell you how true that is, because now I am friends with Jason Sadler. Because, again, like I started making decisions. I'm living my life for myself. And then I start making these friends where like I look at you or I look at other friends that I made and I'm like, how does this make sense? Yeah. If I didn't become this type of person, I would have made your friend or would have been friends with you.
Yeah, true
but
story. And vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Honestly, okay, so when I was writing down my notes for this, actually this morning, I flipped through my Bible and I just landed at a random page. And I had written a note on this page. And I was like, wow, okay, I totally forgot about this. But this was something my pastor actually said a long time ago. It must have been like a year and a half ago. Okay. What I was thinking about at first was when you're making somebody upset is because you know you're living your completely authentic self. You know, when you're on the right path, right? You know you're being uniquely you and it's making people upset. And when we tap into trying to be like somebody else. Because when we're caring about what people think, it's because we're trying to please them, or to be like them, or to be like that mold that they think that we should be, right? So we're kind of trying to be a different version of ourselves. We're trying to be somebody else. Automatically, by doing that, you're tapping into the mindset of Satan. Because what did Satan do? He wanted to be God. He wanted to be like God. And what happened, bro? You're done. And it's crazy thinking about it, because you think that you yourself in that moment, you're coming from a place of like meekness, that like you want to please everybody, and that you just want to make people happy. But it's actually from a place of pride, because you don't want to be the person that God has created you to be. You don't want to stay in your lane of who you're supposed to be. You're trying to be like somebody else, just like how Satan was trying to be like God.
That's right.
Mind blown when I saw
Love
this.
that.
And totally forgot about it. And I was like, wow, okay, definitely need to bring that up today.
Yeah.
Because it's a reminder. I think the reminder that you are being prideful is so hard to hear. But it's the truth. Because you kind of go into this shell of like, oh, you know, poor me. I'm just trying to make everybody happy. And I'm suffering and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no. You're being prideful. And you're being a pussy.
Yeah.
Like, you're too afraid to live authentically as yourself, to not make people upset. And you think that the world revolves around you because you think everybody's talking about you, but chances are not everybody's talking about you. And even if they are, you trying to not be like yourself is emulating the very creature that tried to be like God. That feeling of not being yourself, of being somebody else,
Wow.
is the complete opposite of God.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't take credit for that, but I wrote it down so I can take credit for that.
Yeah, no, it's it's actually a great way to sum it up.
Yeah. Definitely. That's definitely, maybe we'll offend somebody, but
I'm sure we'll offend somebody.
Like Jason said, I don't know if this is the space to be politically correct.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other podcasts.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it will offend people. But if it offends you, that means you might have needed to hear it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
You might have needed to hear it if you're offended by it.
Yeah. Because when I heard that being prideful is not just thinking, oh, I'm the greatest, right? It can also be like looking down at yourself too. Because what's prideful? Making something about yourself, right? So when you're looking down on yourself too, I'm a good person and oh, poor me, I'm so sad, whatever. Holding an extended pity party, right? Mm-hmm. Extended. Yeah. Pity parties are good for like a day or two, right? Extended pity party.
Yeah.
Really feeling sorry for yourself all the time. It's prideful because you're making it all about yourself.
A day, or I give you a day.
Yeah.
2 days is too
depending
long.
On the situation.
I know, I'm just joking.
Okay. I think it's relative, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have any other notes. We're at 48 minutes now.
All right.
Anything else you'd like to say to cap this?
No, I love the way you ended that. It
Yeah.
was very encapsulating of what we spoke about today.
Yeah.
Like we say, there's no simple solution to changing it. Actually, I'm lying to you. There is a simple solution to changing it. Get closer to God. You know, at the end of the day, we all have thoughts that creep into our mind. We all have things about us that we would like to change. We all have things about us that we feel are not perfect in our own eyes and in other people's eyes. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's actually okay to have those feelings. At least you have a heart.
I mean, yeah.
At least you have a heart, right? So the solution to getting past this is to get closer to God. Talk to God, pray to God. Ask Him to take these burdens away from you. You don't have to do it on your own. You can't do it on your own.
No, that's a fact.
Right? You can't do it on your own.
I couldn't do it on my own because the therapist and the doctors, they really helped me cope with the situation and, you know, not feel like I was dying and function and stuff like that. But in terms of actually transforming my mind and therefore transforming my life, I couldn't do it alone.
There you go.
Yeah.
And for me, I'll tell you, I know I'm not doing it alone. Although I might have had that mindset beforehand, I couldn't carry it through because I've gone through life crossing paths with really bad people who could have brought me down this dark hole. But what I did was, on my journey, I would pray about it. I would talk to God about it. And I would do it in a way where I am asking God to show me that I'm doing it the right way. And if I'm not doing it the right way, show me. If I am supposed to do this because this person is saying that I should do this, tell me and I will do it. And 100% of the time, God comes back to me and says, Jason, you're on the right path in some way, shape, or form. And when I do need to hear that I need to change something up, 100% of the time, God says, take a turn here.
Yeah.
Let's go down here. I don't do it on my own.
Yeah.
I do it through my faith. And I let God take all of any negativity off my shoulders. I don't deal with the negativity. When I'm speaking, it sounds like I just go through life like Goldilocks. I kind of do go through life like Goldilocks, but the reason is that I don't take on the burdens. I don't take on the negative. I refuse to. I release it. I give it to God to handle.
Yeah.
And He handles it 100% of the time. And the few times where I did want to take it on, I found myself in trouble.
Real talk.
I've tested it with God.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another time. Yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But
okay, listen, before we close, I have one question.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone that may not really believe in God, but they need to kind of release this off of them?
Yeah.
If they could say like a prayer or like have a conversation with God, what would you suggest for them? Like, what would you suggest that they say?
All right. So the first part of your question, I'm gonna say, if what you're doing for you is not working, try something new. First and foremost, even if you don't believe what we're saying, even if you think that it's the universe speaking when you're going through these things, or even if you think that these are all coincidences, I'm gonna say, if you are in a place where there's things that you want to change and you want to grow personally and spiritually, I'm not talking about financial goals and all that, although we can talk about that another time, but give it a chance. And what I would say is, if you don't know how to pray, and listen, I am no prayer expert, because it's only been recently that I've actually been praying around other people as well. I've been praying by myself for years, in more of a conversational form, and it's only since I met you, to be honest with you, that I've actually started praying out loud. And what I'm brush your shoulder off. And what I do is very simple. If I need help with something, the first thing I do is I thank God for the situation, good, bad, and ugly. Thank you, God, for the situation that you've put me in. And then I'll ask God to show me what it is that He wants to reveal to me. Show me what it is, the message that He wants me to hear. And I ask Him to surround me with the people that are going to deliver that message to me. Mm-hmm. Because more times than not, you're going to get these messages through somebody. And a lot of the times that you get these messages, you're not going to take it as a message. And you might even actually disagree with the message, not even realizing what you're disagreeing with. I can give you a story about that another day.
Okay.
But that's what I do. I ask Him to reveal to me what it is, show me what it is, give me the wisdom to see that that's what it is, open my heart to make me feel like that's what it is. And then I thank Him again, and then I praise Him. And that's a wrap.
Yeah. All right. That's some great advice. And that's a wrap on this episode. You got anything else to add?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We hope that you got something out of this. Don't forget, if you feel like somebody can benefit from this, please share it. We don't care about the numbers. We just care that it's in the ears of the people that need to hear it. So if you think somebody needs to hear this, please share it with them.
Amen.
And we love you guys. See you next week.
Deuces.
Guys, thank you for listening to another episode of Real Talk with Carissa and Jason. Listen, if you know someone that can benefit from this episode, we are asking you to please send it over to them. We would love for them to hear it. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Carissa and Jason, and over on YouTube at Real Talk with Carissa and Jason.